According to a report by the U.S. Naval Institute News Network on August 16, U.S. Navy officials confirmed to the U.S. Naval Institute News Network on the 16th that the aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln has left the South China Sea and is now in the Indian Ocean. The aircraft carrier will head to the U.S. Central Command area to rendezvous with the USS Theodore Roosevelt, which is performing missions in the area. The U.S. Navy released a video on the 16th, showing the aircraft carrier Lincoln passing through the Strait of Malacca near the coast of Singapore. U.S. Defense Secretary Austin ordered the aircraft carrier to accelerate its journey to the Middle East on the 12th. Tensions in the Middle East increased after Hamas leader Haniyeh was assassinated in Tehran at the end of July. The report stated that the dispatch of the Lincoln aircraft carrier to the Central Command area is part of a series of actions by the United States into the area, which also include the deployment of additional guided missile cruisers and guided missile destroyers. Pentagon leaders also announced that the USS Georgia, a nuclear-powered cruise missile submarine, will travel from the Mediterranean to the Central Command area, but it is unclear whether the submarine has passed through the Suez Canal. Pentagon Deputy Press Secretary Sabrina Singer told reporters that as of the 15th, the submarine had not yet arrived in the Middle East. The report pointed out that it is still unclear whether the Lincoln and Roosevelt will jointly operate, and it is also unclear whether the Roosevelt will sail back home. The Roosevelt left San Diego in January and has been deployed for more than 7 months. The Lincoln, carrying the 9th Carrier Air Wing, was deployed in June. In their statement, Pentagon officials specifically mentioned the Marine Corps' 314th Fighter Squadron, known as the Black Knights, and equipped with F-35C Lightning to Joint Strike Fighters. According to a report on the U.S. Foreign Policy magazine website, due to the recent killings of Hamas's political leader and Hezbollah's second-in-command, the United States and Israel may face a military response from Iran or its proxies at any time. In this case, the most visible presence of the U.S. military in the region is its massive aircraft carriers. U.S. Secretary of Defense Austin said that he has ordered the Lincoln Aircraft Carrier Battle Group to speed up its deployment to the Middle East. The Lincoln is nearly 1,100 feet long and is accompanied by two carrier-based fighter squadrons, a guided missile cruiser, and a guided missile destroyer. According to reports, the Lincoln will rendezvous with another aircraft carrier, the Theodore Roosevelt, which has been deployed in the eastern Mediterranean. This is the second time in 6 months that the United States has deployed two aircraft carriers to the region. In October last year, the United States deployed the USS Gerald Ford and USS Dwight D. Eisenhower aircraft carriers to the region. Jerry Hendricks, a retired U.S. Navy colonel and senior fellow at the Sagamore Institute for Policy Studies, a think tank, said, "Two aircraft carriers are definitely a signal. It allows us to cover both sides of the Middle East. One side can cover Israel, and the other side can cover Israel. One side can put pressure on Iran." The report pointed out that these latest deployments show that aircraft carriers are still the main force for the U.S. Navy to show its presence around the world. If the White House and Pentagon decide to deploy two aircraft carriers on the same side of the Middle East, either in Israel's Mediterranean backyard or in the Persian Gulf, that would allow the U.S. Navy to operate from the carriers nearly 20 hours a day, Hendricks said. Continuous flight mission. Iran's ability to destroy a ship of this size is limited because it takes a considerable amount of weapons and ammunition to destroy a carrier. Brian Clark, a senior fellow at the Hudson Institute, said that Iran could fire a lot of weapons at an aircraft carrier, but the carrier and its escorts would likely shoot them down. According to reports, the reason why U.S. aircraft carriers are doing so much work in the current Middle East crisis is because they are easy to deploy, as long as they can be put into use. Aircraft carriers are often an option for a rapid response. The current trend is for aircraft carriers to be deployed to the Middle East to perform these deterrence and assurance missions, said Becca Warsaw, senior fellow at the Defense Program at the Center for a New American Security, a think tank in Washington. Warsa said the aircraft carrier has taken on new importance, especially in the Pentagon's 7-month mission of protecting Red Sea shipping from attacks by Yemen's Houthi rebels.